We are recording now. So here we go. We are officially recording. I'll try to keep track of anybody else who wants to get in and join us. Let me share the agenda. That's not it. Shelby Brett's coming in. Okay, here we go with the agenda. There's a whole lot of stuff on the agenda, but a lot of it is just informational. Saying winter concerts. If you didn't get a chance to watch the winter concerts, vocals and instrumentals, our people did really fine work getting those together virtually with the kids. So if you get a chance, you can always go watch them. The links were out there. If you don't have the link, I can share the links that they shared with me. So thank you to Dustin and Shannon for putting the virtual winter concert together.
Welcome.
Woohoo!
Zoom link.
Thank you for the shout out. Thank you.
Yeah, really. Yeah. The Zoom links. A lot of you probably thought I was nuts asking for you to fill out this Google form, Google Doc on Zoom links. But in everybody's head, you guys think the way you're doing it is pretty similar to what everybody else is doing, and that's not the case. Many people have great ideas on how to share the Zoom links, but when we're dealing with parents who are dealing with multiple teachers or multiple grade levels, that's where the confusion started with parents, and kids are very willing to play stupid, and you know that. I don't know how to do it. So thank you for sharing those Zoom links. I'm sharing that document with all of you, because if you ever want to ask one of your colleagues, hey, can I Zoom in and watch your class? You'll have them. So you don't have to go to their Canvas page. And again, a lot of people did them differently. Some people have one Zoom for each class that they teach. Some people have a Zoom for everything they teach all at one time. You just log on when it's your time. So this will make it easier if you want to go in and out of different out of your colleagues' classrooms. So I will share that with you. I'm not going to do it now. I included the 2-hour delay schedule just so you still had it. So when and if we go for a 2-hour delay, I hope soon, it'll be there. It'll be at the faculty meeting document that I'm going to share with everybody. Just a reminder, second quarter ends. Second quarter ends. Somebody just texted me. I'm wondering if somebody's locked out.
22nd.
Yep, January 22nd. And Jim, if I could just add
You go right
that,
ahead.
I mean, who knows if we'll have any additional snow days that'll push that into the following week. The 22nd is a Friday. It's actually only 2 weeks away. But let's assume it is the 22nd, and I would like to store grades that following Thursday, which would be January 28th. So I'll get something out to all of you, but that would give you weekend and 4 school days. So we'll see if we can hold to that schedule. And, you know, if things come up and we can't, we can always revise that. But that's what I'm thinking would be nice if we can pull it off.
Cool. Thank you. So after the 22nd, I'll put out one of those. I'm going to stick to the old fashioned way where there's a sheet that you sign up for mid-year conversations about how you're doing with your goals for years 2, 3, and 4. And when the heck do you want me to come into your class for those first period, those year 1 people that I have to do a formal observation. So we'll do that right after the 22nd. I'll send out an email. I'll let people know that there's a form and sign up, and If you remember, it takes like 10 minutes at the most to talk about where you are in your goals and what are you doing. We don't have to, of course, don't have to talk about slows um, because slows don't count right now. So don't worry about them. Relax on the slow. This is in red. What if Google goes down? If you remember, Google went down it was a very short period of time, but if you weren't on it at the time or didn't try to get on to anything that you need to do for school, you didn't realize that you couldn't do anything. We talked about this at admin today. Diane brought it up, and what if it goes down? We don't know because we rely on it so heavily. So just give that a thought. Think about it in your teams. What do we do? Do we set up a plan to tell kids if Google is down, what do we do? Where to go, what to do? Diane says, just tell them to read all day. But which is probably the best spent time. If we can't deal with them, reading is better than anything else that they'd be doing. But so just keep that in the back of your head. What if Google goes down again? And hopefully it doesn't. Politics in the classroom. I added this because some of you are aware of what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. It is an absolutely it's an embarrassment. And I don't want to put my own feelings into it, but we have to be very careful about what we say to our kids. Some of the people protesting are some of our parents that went down. And then we have parents at the total opposite end. Just between Schumacher and I, we try not to talk about politics at all in the office unless we can agree on something, which is hard to do for us a lot of the time. But be careful what you do. Be careful what you say. Don't brand one party, one side, the right and just, and the other one believers in fake news. Don't do that. If I'm just going to remind you that teachers do not have freedom of speech when you're instructing in the classroom. Try to stick to the facts and only the facts, no matter how tough it is for you. And yeah, when we're done with this, Google what's going on in DC. It's absolutely horrible. It's an embarrassment. It truly is.
Jim, can I interject in on that, please, a moment?
Yes.
I just got off my meeting with our superintendent and our vice superintendent, and us nurses are keeping a list of if we know what parents are down there, because they're supposedly supposed to be quarantining because they left. That's Washington, D.C. So just so that nurses could be watching for symptoms in our students here in school, that if I would get a student that's sick, I could look at my list to see if I know that their parents were down there. So if teachers hear that students share that their parents were down there, if you can just email me that name, please. Thank you.
Schumacher and I have one for you. So
Thank you.
We'll get that to you. Virtual students. Talking with some teachers, it's tough to keep up, and I understand it's tough to keep up with who's out for what. So I have a list. Heather tried to make it as simple as possible. I'll put it in a Google form where the kids that we know are out because they chose to stay out. And then there's a separate list that changes almost daily. If you keep up with Mrs. Schumacher's emails, this child will be out till further notice. These children will be out till further notice. What Heather did for me is she eliminated why they're out until further notice, because we don't want to share any medical information, but for whatever reason, they will be out for such and such a dates. And I will start share that with you so you can kind of keep a running tally on a Google Doc. It might make it easier for you. So if you see emails from Schumacher that there are kids added, change your list, update your list. So hopefully that'll make it easier for you. Then, Turk, are you here?
I am here. I am here.
Chris,
All right.
I asked Chris if she'd talk about what she's been doing in art class lately as far as student-directed learning. So go ahead, Chris.
All right. Self-directed learning. is something-
Self-directed, sorry.
Yes. Something that I've been doing for 25 years. But lo and behold, that's the new buzzword in education, self-directed learning. So it came about because it's lunacy trying to keep track of kids where they are. They're at home, their work is at school. They're at school, their work is at home. So they look at me and they say, Ms. Turk, my packet, which so if everybody does not know, every single kid has an individual packet full of different types of papers, different types of pencils, oil pastels, markers, pencils with erasers, and whatever they need for a specific project. Well, when we hit Thanksgiving, I just couldn't do it. So how was I going to teach a project that half the kids didn't have the materials? So I decided to start off with an independent work and called it independent free art at the time, knowing that that's not a really cool, title. So I started to call it self-directed art. And that means that every single student in the building and at home, 300 plus, all are doing their own thing. So it's a laborious challenge to create thinkers, because you're going to get the kids that are going to sit there like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, I don't either. What do you like? Well, I don't know. So it's a matter of working with every single kid to find if they had the opportunity to do anything in art, what would you like to do? So we are in the third cycle right now, and I must say it's working. They come in, they grab their packet, they sit down, they work on something. If they're in the opposite location, they start something new. If they're at home, they can take anything that they want to work with. They have the availability of whatever supplies they have at home. You want to paint, you want to sculpt. I mean, I've got one young man who does amazing building of his own arrows. He asked me, it was Jacob Bungo. He says, is archery a form of art? And I said, well, let's talk about that. So then we talk about it. And he's like, yes, archery is, but do you make your own arrows? That's even more of an art piece. So he is documenting through photography. And when he was at home, he also took his computer outside and started shooting a bow and arrow so that I could see his form. So that's one student. So you times that by 300 of them. So they're doing great. Wait till you see the artwork that's will be hanging up in the hallway. That's a big help for me because I can work independently with every single kid, but I'm trying to help them all listen, think, and that's the biggest thing. You could work with half the kids are like, yeah, I know what I'm going to do. And I'm teaching them how to research. They don't even touch a book for a reference. So now that we've got these Chromebooks, teach them how to look up certain things that they want to draw. You want to draw a deer? Well, go into Google, look up deer. You get pictures in the images of real deer. That's not going to help you when you go to draw. Click into the drawing of them, click into clip art, clip into like a cartoon, which will give you a better line quality. And then also you want to do something, you have to research, figure out how to do it until I can get to you because of the amount of kids that are in the classroom. So that's kind of where the self-directed art has come about. And so next, before the end of the quarter, they're going to photograph their work and put it in a Google Doc. And then we're doing a chart for a graphic organizer that they're going to eventually write their full artist statement. Because when I put things in the gallery, I always give you what project we did, what materials we used, what were the objectives, and what were the outcomes. They each have to do that for their own work now. So wait and see. You're going to see an awful lot of Among Us characters. I think that's the new hieroglyphic of the 2020. But anyhow, so one other thing I just want to say that is working. I refuse to teach to black screens with a name. So every kid must have their face on. And what they're going to do is they're going to tilt their screen so that I see them working. So this is what's happening. They're working. And if they lose internet, they have to email me by 6 o'clock that night, or they get a 0 and they cut my class. If they, for some reason, don't want to work, every single class period, they're getting a grade, a participation grade. You want to sit and do nothing, then you'll get a 0, but that's helping too. I am so tired of talking to names. They need to be there to participate. So I think that's it. Sorry, I know, chatterbox.
No, thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. I don't know if student-directed learning will work for everybody, but Chris will definitely be willing to chat with you if you're interested in trying it in your classes.
Yep.
Erin, I just, career interest interviews, is that close to what you want to call it?
Yeah, that's good. And can I share?
I
I think you have to turn it on.
I'm gonna stop sharing here and then share multiple participants share. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first quarter, what my 8th graders worked on was we did a series of interviews with people from across the country about their careers. And we assembled that. I talked to Hallie and kind of assembled it into something we can do for their career portfolios with all the students in the middle school. And so the idea here is that this works kind of flexible around the other things you're doing. When I started it, we had a whole lot of extra time in those advisory periods, and it was kind of targeted at that. I heard from Hallie that a lot of that extra time has been gobbled up by advisory or by academic supports for some students. And so, we may have to talk about how to schedule it in, those kind of things. If it needs to go into the second step time, we could talk about that. I think it works better as something as an aside to that, that, when you have students with you, they can always be working on this in advisory. They don't always have to do it at the same time. Everybody do this right now. You can make it work. We can give benchmarks or deadlines, whatever people think will work. But the idea here is there's a career reflection form that goes along with each of the interviews. And so there's instructions here for how they make a copy and change the name. Like I said in the email, please be militant about making sure they name that file correctly, because otherwise it's going to be awful for Hallie and anybody that Hallie recruits to help her with that. And she doesn't deserve that. So walk around the room, look at them, make sure they have it, last name, first name, and then the number, which one it is. That's going to help with the organization a whole lot. But then on here, everything they have to fill in is in yellow. At the end, there's 3 questions that they answer. This one for the first interview, this one for the second, and this one for the third that they watch, to put a little variety into it. They can pick which interviews they watch. There's some really cool people in here. There's some really cool interviews. There's a guy that designs technology and is working on writing a competition for Zoom. There's a psychologist, there's an audiologist, there's a physicist, there's a guy who runs outreach programs that feeds homeless people in DC. This person is a neurologist, but she works for the Carolina Hurricanes and does data analysis and analytics for them. So there's medical and sports and women in those fields, which is, a very interesting combination there. There's a guy who does speculative real estate. Carolyn Wassler, everybody knows, she's working on a sailing ship in California, taking students out, but not right now. So they're trying to find Zoom alternatives that she can do. This guy works for Google now, but used to work for Forbes magazine and actually interviewed Donald Trump when he was just a regular business person. This person does oncology research writing. There's an actress. There's a real vacation planning person. This person does workplace wellness, and this person you all know. Justin Turks out in California running art studios at the college out there. So there's some really interesting people. I think the kids will actually get into the interviews. I bribed all my students into letting other people watch them. And I think it'll be a good project in place of the speakers that we normally bring in for students. So thank you to Becky, to Beth, to Chris for helping me round out the supply of interviewees. And I'm certainly open to thoughts and suggestions about how each grade level wants to incorporate them into that advisory time and have students do them.
Aaron, can we put a limit on how many we need for the year? Like like maybe Hallie could let us know how many
That
we have the kids
that
do.
document is set up for them to do 3. That for them to pick 3, and then there's 5 questions that they answer for all 3. And then there's 1 question for the first one question for the second, and 1 question for the third. So they're certainly welcome to watch as many interviews as they want, but there's 3 that we'd like to do the reflection for to get into their folder.
Aaron, what's the general length? Are they all about 15, 20 minutes or?
A lot of them are around 20 minutes, up to an hour.
Oh, wow.
I know Elise and Justin just kept talking and talking about art, and
It's an hour and 20 minutes. I looked at it today and thought, I don't have time to watch that now.
right. And I was going to stop them, but the conversation never stopped being productive or interesting. So they just kept going. So, I'm sure some of the students will quickly identify which are the shortest ones, and we'll have a lot of those being reviewed. But, it's also designed that it doesn't all have to happen at once. You could tell them start watching an interview. They can keep the tab open. They can jump ahead to where they were before. So I think the advantage to it is it should be very flexible, because I know we don't need one more thing to all do on a schedule. And so hopefully it gives you something you can use as a tool to help you keep the kids engaged rather than something else to force you to do.
Jim, you're muted. I could hear you talking because you're next door.
Tell them what I said. I said, thank you very much, Aaron, for all your hard work and everybody else who helped you work on this. It's a great idea. I know it was great for the kids that actually did the interviews, but it's great that you're sharing it with everybody else so they can kind of take part in the same experience. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. And I think the kids, as you said, are going to get a lot out of it. Maybe what has to happen is team level discussions about how to incorporate it and when to do it. Because I think that's definitely going to take some planning. And if teams could potentially come up with that plan, I think, we don't have to be the same 6, 7, and 8, but I think if each team develops what they're going to do, that would be awesome.
Right.
That everyone can be flexible. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for helping the school and Hallie get this accomplished.
Is there a deadline that you need these career pieces by, or?
The deadline for each grade level is always the end of the school year. I
Okay,
think the PIMS report actually gets completed in May. So probably a couple weeks before the school year ends, the evidence has to be all there.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going back to hopefully the right document. And Hallie already talked. I don't know if she has to talk again, but course selection, I know eighth grades talk. I saw some emails going back and forth about eighth grade course selection. I'll talk to eighth grade team separately. I had a request. Tim Summers said, is there any way you could show us low Ds and Fs right now so we can take a look at it and check it as a team? So what I did, and I'll share this with all of you right afterwards, and I don't know why I did that, but I have tabs for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I did D minuses and Fs for, and then I sorted them so you'll see Amato here he's got a bunch of them all together. So this will give you an idea of where the kids stand, what they need help in, and as a team, you can have conversations about how the heck do we get this kid to pass, and we don't want him back here next year. So I shared that with all of you. Well, I will share it so you can take a look at it, and I'll give you the rights to edit. And then again, what to do about remediation. What the heck do we do with these kids that need all this help? Some of them, I had a conversation with Christian today, even kids that are here, they're in the building. And I don't know whether it's COVID or what's going on. Has everybody lost their minds, including our kids and their families? They just seem not to be doing anything. And he says they're doing the same thing at the high school, where the kids are in class and they're still struggling and failing in larger numbers than ever before. So I don't know, as a team, take a look at like the big, huge patterns with, you have kids that are failing multiple classes, and let's try to figure out how to get them through this. There's something going on, and I hate to blame everything on COVID, but it's COVID. I think it's screwed with everybody. Flex days. I have this little reminder down here. When I share it, you can enlarge it. I had to make it small so it all fit in one page because it drove me nuts going over to another page. But it has all the dates. If you're not sure, you turn in a report. You have to have a report in within 2 days officially. If you're not sure and you still think you might owe it to me, or come see me, shoot me an email. I had somebody very close and dear to my heart. She can hear me without the message on, just checking to see if did mine count. And I don't know why you can't see it when I approve it. So I don't know if you can see it right away when I click approve. I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason, at least I didn't see that. But also, I'm sure everyone knows, all you have to do is go to your Comply account, and you can certainly find the report that you have to complete there. So Comply has this little thing that says, like, has it been approved? Is it still pending? Do I need to start it? Whatever. So, teachers really don't need to go to you, Jim, if they just check their Comply account. Obviously, I did go to you because I wasn't sure it was approved. So.
Yeah. So, and I don't know why it didn't pop up. That's got to be a flaw in the system, which is a pain.
Yeah.
But again, if you're unsure, come just talk to me. Ask me to stop by, and we'll go through it together. Because you just need one report done now. That's it. Okay. Anybody else have anything for the good?
Jim, can you send or share the early dismissal schedule for next Friday, the 15th? Because we have a half day that day.
Yes, I will. Thanks for reminding me.
Thanks, because I looked and I could not find it. So thank you.
Okay. I'll double check what they're doing, high school, but guaranteed it's going to look a whole lot like it did last time with a big You decide what you're doing in the team,
Periods 1 through 4 at the high school.
1 through 4. Okay, that's the
What are
same.
we doing?
I'll send it out. It's probably, if it's 1 through 4, it's the same thing that we're doing, that we did last time.
But for professional development on the 15th, the half day.
That's coming from Diane.
Oh, okay.
All right. Anything else? Have a great day. I'm going to go skiing.
Okay.
Day 12 in a row. Bye.
All right, thanks. Bye, everybody.
And I'll share all these before I leave, so stop looking at me, go away.